So now let's look at what the headlines are. On the page that gives you a summary on myjoyonline.com of what the headlines are on the front page of the newspapers, we have the Daily Graphic headline in its front page with the subject of the Electoral Commission. But this time, as President John Dramani Mahama also spoke about what actions that the EC needs to take and how independent the Electoral Commission is. And it's been captured rightly in the first paragraph as saying that the President John Dramani Mahama has stated he will not be drawn into the call by the New Patriotic Party for a new voters register for the 2016 general elections. And if you read the whole content of the story, he says that, well, it was at a press conference, and he said, well, as far as he's concerned, the Electoral Commission since under the Fourth Republic has always been given the mandate with no interference whatsoever from the executive to undertake its work. And so that won't be different or won't deviate from the norm usually. And, well, this has ricocheted, especially depends on which side of the political divide, as it was reported in the news media the last 12 hours. So it's been an interesting twist away because we hadn't really heard anything about the whole issue, especially coming from the president. Now, you also look at police initiating Sarkodie or inviting Sarkodie over a stolen car, and apparently a car that the Hip Life musician really bought apparently was a stolen car. And we know that, well, as far as the CID is concerned, they tend to have a lot of collaboration with the Interpol, and as a result of that, they get to know which cars have been stolen from wherever they're coming from and now been transported into our country. And so this has been captured. The Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service has begun investigations into a case in which the Ace Ghanaian rapper Michael Addo, known to many of us in showbiz circles as Sarkodie, to have alleged to have bought a stolen car. I can imagine how that is bad publicity really for Sarkodie. Well, the other story we also have on the front page of the Daily Graphic, Eurobond cannot solve our business problems. And this one is important because it's coming from the Association of Ghana Industries and the Ghana Union of Traders, that is GUTA, expressing varied opinions on the $1 billion Eurobond deal as announced by government to stabilize the economy. The next paper we're looking at is the Daily Guide. It has as its lead story, I won't dictate to EC. And that same story also featured on the front page of Daily Graphic is also captured here, and says government would not dictate to the Electoral Commission on the issue of a new voters register. 4 clerks quizzed over Anas bribe video, and apparently 4 staff of the Judicial Service implicated in the investigative video concerning the bribery scandal in the judiciary yesterday appeared before the Chief Justice Committee of Inquiry. In the Ashanti region, apparently Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says that that very stronghold region of the MPP needs to give the party 80%, at least 80% votes in the next election in 2016. And so it's been captured on the front page of the Daily Guide that presidential candidates of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says that the party will win the 2016 general elections if the Ashanti region delivers 80% of the valid votes that will be cast. And I was listening to the audio on radio yesterday. It was very succinct. He says that from President John Ejiokom Kufuor, 79-point-something%. That's way up in 2000, and so that should not deviate from the norm. He gets 80%, is a done deal, straight leading road to the Flagstaff House, and then he gets installed as the President of the Republic of Ghana. We have on the front page of the Daily Telegraph, or the General Telegraph, Akufo-Addo loyalists hound Kufuor's men in controversy over MPP membership drive, and credible information gathered by the General Telegraph Patriotic Party indicates that the current rift over a party fundraising website and the issuance of new membership cards is raging on at a peak among the top hierarchy of the party. Political parties must speak up on the judicial scandal. Members of political pressure group, the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, these days we have a lot of pressure groups, I believe, they say they are disappointed with the silence of political parties over the bribery scandal that has rocked the judiciary. I don't think they have to say anything at all. The Chief Justice is taking the right steps, I believe. The front page of the Today newspaper is up next. It said disaster looms in New Wager, and officials have sounded alarm bells over the poor state of drainage system in Aigbe town. a fishing community in the Gan South municipality of the Greater Accra region, stressing that the residents there are sitting on a time bomb just because the drainage in the community is not a good one. And when it rains, it means that sanitation issues could compound and there could be flooding situation in the area, as well as some health scare for the residents. Mahama weights into voters register saga. We've talked about that because it's been featured also on the front page of the Daily Guide and Daily Graphic. The Business and Financial Times is usually the last one we always feature. It says, how much is ECG investor bringing? It's a question that the leading business newspaper in Ghana is asking. Although government has been emphatic that unlike the Aqua-Vitens round arrangement in the water sector, the ECG concessionaire will be required to invest. It is yet to be stated how much money the investor is supposed to bring along. We'll see how that goes. It will be unfolding, I believe, in the next couple of weeks, how much, what the whole proposal is, what the whole detail is. We also have TECPE demand more fiscal discipline. And Finance Minister said TECPE apparently has tasked public finance managers to adhere strictly to various reforms of the Finance Ministry aimed at encouraging prudent protection of the public purse. The last story featured on the front page of the Business and Financial Times is government reviving Eurobond dream. And that has been announced over the last, I believe, 12, 16 hours in the news media, especially not only in Ghana, but across Africa and the world as well. Because you go to the website of the Wall Street Journal, the BBC, and also even Bloomberg, you get to have news about $1 billion Eurobond that Ghana is going for, only at a worrying interest for many of the critics of 10.75%. And my local Greek princess is here. How are you looking? And how are you feeling?
Well. I
how
was
are you
stuck.
keeping?
I am good. I'm blessed. I was just stuck.
Amen.
I was, yeah.
The rain
because
didn't
some
affect you,
places
did it?
are flooded, not
Yeah.
at home, but en route to this place.
Right.
You know, yeah, somewhere in Dome.
Wow.
So I'd driven almost, halfway through, and I had to.
When I was
go
driving
back
this
on
morning,
myself.
I nearly got stuck up somewhere, I think on the main road, just coming towards...
Towards the police.
yes, I think that,
police
this
training.
patch, water
Exactly.
that has collected some...
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
So the road is very narrow now.
And when I was coming, there was this, I think, the bus belonging to the MMT.
That's also still sitting there.
Great. That's all we need.
Okay, so we're drawing the attention of the police as though they haven't seen it, even
police,
though
they don't have to interact,
this is so close to their academy. So they have to, because otherwise it's going to create a lot of traffic. And this is right at Tesano, the police training. Maybe DSP or Bing is watching us and listening. He will fix it.
We'll have to give
But
a call.
good morning to you.
Good morning. You look like a local... No,
an African princess. What kind of, what's that?
I wanted to say an African. Sorry about the semantics.
No, but it's fine. I mean, I don't mind.
You look good.
You can
You
add
look
something
good.
else to it. Thank you so much. So, good morning. I'll take you back to myjoyonline.com. We'll check out this story here. Sam George is to blame for my dwindling fortunes. That's according to E.T. Mensah. Does it mean he's not going to win? A little bit of that story here for you. It says that the contest to win the NDC primary in the Ningo Pram constituency is getting murkier by the hour, with the incumbent Enoch Tay Mensah accusing his closest challenger of sabotaging him in the 2012 elections. E.T. Mensah is alleging that Sam George, whom he refers to as his errand boy, was the cause of his dwindling fortunes in the 2012 elections. You can continue to read details of this. It's interesting, isn't it? Is Sam George a threat after all? I didn't think, but I mean, he's talking about 2012, so maybe there's a certain history that perhaps...
Well, somebody will say that the long-time serving member of parliament today, E.T. Mensah, is only sounding as a man who is desperate. Just a mark of desperation for many people.
Well,
but I think that he has nothing to fear. It's just because somebody, one of the main contenders, I think even the main contender to him in that very primary was disqualified yesterday, leaving him to what did he say? His errand boy, Sam George.
Yeah. He said a couple of things, but Mr. E.T. Mensah has been in Parliament since 1996, so he'll be going for his sixth term.
Wow.
The Ningo Pram, they refer to him as Mugabe as critics call him, is blaming Sam George for the dwindling fortunes. He said Sam George will be last in the parliamentary primary, his position as the presidential staffer notwithstanding. And this is in quote, he only plays his politics on radio. We'll see. It's just a matter of time, isn't it? All right, let's check out City FM Online. Let's see what they're reporting today. Judicial corruption, CID to interrogate 2 more. NDC decide, Zenato cleared, 5 others disqualified in Accra. Terror, ISIS agents invade Ghana's tertiary institutions. Is this issue coming back? Blatter suspension, commendable. That's what our local president is saying. But this story, this ISIS thing, can we open it up and read a little bit of it for you? The ISIS issue. Worrying report from the National Security has revealed that terrorist group ISIS has successfully recruited agents in Ghana who are targeting students from the various tertiary institutions. This was contained in a detailed report forwarded to the Ministry of Education. Now, confirming the development of the ceremony to rekindle the relationship between the Zakat, Sadaka and the Student Loan Trust Fund, a Deputy Minister of Education, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, said 2 students who had earlier joined the group were heading to Syria from Lebanon. Amazing. But if you're a parent, if you've got your wards in any of the tertiary institution, I think you should look for this report and read it in detail. I don't know how we can stop this. Maybe we can stop by changing people's minds, preparing them towards the possible things that they could say to recruit them. What do you think? I
think so too. And it's also, while we do that very conscientization, it's also trying to make sure we caught the leading public opinion people in communities, especially the communities that will be more vulnerable to have constant or to be in constant touch with the youth in their communities. Sure. Because often we know that sometimes when they endear the things that they say about Islam and why they need to come and join ISIS, etc., to them, they somehow get convinced for reasons you and I wouldn't be convinced about. So, so it's a public opinionated people in the communities who, for example, the sheikhs, and the leaders in the communities,
the Zungo chiefs and
things
like that.
Yes, yeah. They will make the difference.
On a lighter note, I don't know, can you see the vehicles closely?
Yes, I can.
Do you know what kind of
Toyota, I've been seeing it in the news for a very long time.
Okay, so there's this, I was reading this yesterday, and they were asking Toyota questions as to why their vehicles seem to be used mostly by ISIS, why they have so many of their Toyota vehicles.
Well, a childhood acquaintance of mine on Facebook who lives in the UK questioned this yesterday. He says, is that all America is worried about? The Toyota vehicles? What about the guns that they use and the heavy weaponry they use? Who supplies them? They are manufactured by American companies, or even largely by the UK and some of the big firms in Russia.
Are they not hypocrites?
Yeah, I think it's quite hypocritical when they want to.
I think Toyota should tell them that listen, it's on the market. Yes. Anybody could buy. Let's go to another. I think the BBC were doing, Fred. Okay, the BBC. Okay, page not opening properly. So let's check out this. This is Graphic Online, except that, you know, Roland has told you what's up. But let's open this Sarkodie and let me tell you something little about it.
I'm sure you discussed this on Rhythm City.
This was, no,
you won't discuss it tomorrow.
No, we don't have Rhythm City. I'll tell you why. But what I want to say is that the story broke on the Cosmopolitan Mix yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah. That's all I want to say.
You should have given me a link up on WhatsApp.
But we don't have any Rhythm Say to Z tomorrow on radio because we're all going to the Independence Square. Joy FM and Oscars reunion is tomorrow. We've been counting down for such a long time in the days here. Okay, so it's a wrap. You can go and read the details of the stories yourself.
Hey, look at him.
Yeah, man. Okay.
But the car was good, though. It's a good car.
But there's, you know, there's another side of this story, and if you haven't, if you don't know about the story, this is it. Sarkodie apparently went to the DVLA to go and register a vehicle, and then the vehicle apparently had been stolen or reported stolen. So it became a police issue, and he had been invited by the police to assist in investigations. But that's the trick, because they say it's an invitation, but he left there on bail.
Well, yes, it doesn't matter. So he was still invited. He was not arrested.
How can you be invited?
You'll be invited
and then granted bail.
No, you could be invited, but after talking to you, they have to say, well, it means that you are a suspect in the case, and so you should be charged. And as a result of that...
So that's an arrest?
Well, you were first invited.
That's bail?
No, the arrest is when they effect the arrest at your home. It's still an arrest in May. By the time you left there, you were arrested.
Please.
But you didn't go there getting arrested.
I mean,
No,
you're looking.
no.
You're using the technicalities to confuse me.
You were invited to come in. But
and then
by
you
the time,
bail?
yes, by the time you left the premises of the CID, charges were preferred against you. Yes, so you left there on bail.
Okay, so it comes.
You were not necessarily arrested.
So it was still an invitation.
It was still an invitation.
Okay. But the other side of the story I wanted to share, the gentleman who sold the vehicle reportedly to him also took to Instagram later yesterday to try and clear the
Where
issues
is he?
up.
That gentleman, where is he?
He is outside the country.
So
he came down and sold the vehicle. But he says, there's this whole my brother-in-law issue in the thing. The car wasn't for him initially. It was for his brother-in-law. And then his brother-in-law said he didn't want it. But he had paid for it to be shipped from outside to Ghana. But when the vehicle finally came, the brother-in-law said, okay, I like it after all. But he didn't return the money to him.
He was doing that on social media?
Yes.
Again,
social media. Charlie, everything is on social media.
No. These days, I don't trust things on social media.
So he said that
he
also had another vehicle, I think a Range Rover. When he was leaving, his brother-in-law said he wanted to buy it. Something like that.
Charlie, it doesn't jive.
But the point is, this man is at the center of this. Yesterday, people said, Charlie, money no be problem. But money no be problem. Shouldn't you go to like a,
no, but a deal is a deal. You can always buy something on the...
Yeah. But listen, with everything said, this could happen to anybody. This could happen to anybody. We're only talking about it because it's
I know that I could have been a victim. I don't like buying from proper outlets. I like buying from...
But
but it's just that sometimes you just want to bargain well and get the right prices and things like that.
But it could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
It's
just my upbringing, Charlie. I'm too much of a hustler to be buying stuff from. That's why. But you want guarantees, so that's okay for you.
Yeah. I will walk into the showroom.
Sure, Charlie.
And swag. If I could buy with cash, except that I don't have the cash.
Swag. One day I would want to own a Range, though. I think it won't be bad.
I know somebody who bought it with cash, hardcore cash.
Yeah, I know.
Here in Ghana.
I know somebody.
The people were surprised. The car dealers were shocked. Okay, that's it, for our little concern but you can go to the various portals and read the details of some of the stories yourselves. We'll bring you sport. Next, stay with us. Remember, we have more entertainment news coming up later this morning as well, courtesy Airtel.
Okay, we're taking a break. When we come back, a lot more sports. And for Chelsea fans, though, Branislav Ivanovic, he's injured. So don't worry.
My interest is the fact that Issa Hayatu, as you wake up today, his FIFA president. Amazing.
Wrong. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.